In a pride of lions that lived on the open savanna, there was one lion who had never quite become what the others had become. He was smaller than the males his age, not dramatically, not in any way that was remarkable from a distance, but up close, in the specific measurements that prides make of each other, in the way animals make of the things that matter to them. He was smaller, his mane had come in thinner, his roar carried less, and the name the pride had given him, in the wordless way prides assign these things, was simply the small one. His name, given to him by his mother before she understood what the others would call him, was Kesi. He had grown up watching the other males develop into what lions were supposed to develop into. Broad shoulders, deep chest, the low rumbling authority of a roar that stopped other things in their tracks. He had grown up, doing the same things they did, and arriving at a slightly reduced version of the outcome. He had made his peace with this in the way that people and animals make peace with things they cannot change, by deciding to be useful in other ways. What Kesi had, in the place where size was absent, was attention. He watched the savanna the way animals watch things when watching is the primary contribution they can make. He noticed the direction the wind came from before the hunt. He noticed the places where the grassland changed color in the dry season, and what that meant about where the prey would move. He was not consulted about these observations, because the pride consulted the strong lions about the hunt. But he made them anyway, and he filed them in the way quiet things file the things they notice. On a dry season afternoon, Kesi saw what the others had not yet seen. Monkey. Not because his eyes were better, they were not. Because he had been watching when the others were resting, at the edge of the savanna, where the grassland met the acacia grove. Something was moving that should not have been moving. A shadow that had no animal attached to it. Moving in a way that shadows move when they belong to something that is trying not to be seen. The cubs were at the waterhole, unguarded, the way cubs are when the pride believes the territory is secure. 3 of them, small and completely without the defenses that age had not yet given them. The other males were 200 meters away, resting. The danger, a rival male, larger than any lion in the pride, expelled from his own territory, and moving with the specific intention of a creature that has nothing left to lose, was closer to the cubs than the other males were, and moving faster. Kesi looked at the threat. He looked at the cubs. He looked at the other males, who had not yet seen what he had seen, who were 200 meters away, and would not reach the cubs before the threat did. He understood what he was, and what the threat was. He understood the calculation. He stood up anyway. He ran toward the threat. This is the sentence that the story turns on, and it should be received with the full weight of what it means. A smaller lion, alone, ran directly toward a larger threat, placing himself between the danger and 3 cubs that were not his by blood. He was not large enough to win this confrontation by force. He had calculated this before he stood up. He ran anyway, because the calculation of whether you can win and the decision of whether you will try are 2 different calculations, and Kesi had only ever been interested in the second one. He stood between the threat and the cubs. He roared, not with the deep authority of the large male's roar, but with everything his smaller chest could produce, which turned out to be more than he had known he was capable of when there was something worth producing it for. The threat stopped, not because Kesi's roar was the largest it had ever heard, because a creature standing in a place it clearly should not be willing to stand, with no backup visible and no obvious chance of winning, communicates something that size alone does not. The other males heard the roar. They came at full run, the speed of large animals that have understood something serious is happening. When the threat saw the full pride arriving, the calculation changed entirely. It turned, it left. The confrontation ended without the violence that would have ended it differently if Kesi had not been standing where he was, standing in the seconds before the others arrived. The large males arrived to find the cubs safe, and Kesi standing at the waterhole. The largest male of the pride, the one whose roar carried the furthest, whose mane was the fullest, who had always been the obvious measure of what a lion in this pride was supposed to be, looked at Kesi. He looked at the retreating dust where the threat had been. He looked at the cubs. He said nothing. He said nothing. In the language of prides, he did not need to. The largest male sat down beside Kesi, not in front of him, not in the position that communicated hierarchy or leadership. Beside him, in the specific way that you sit beside something when you have understood that the measurement you were using was not the right measurement, and you want to be close to the thing you underestimated, because that is the closest thing available to an apology in a language that has no word for one. The savanna carried the lesson the way the savanna carries everything, without commentary, in the ordinary continuation of days that look the same from a distance and contain entirely different things up close. The lesson was this: strength is what you have. Courage is what you choose. And the weakest lion in the pride had not become strong that afternoon. He had simply chosen, in the specific moment that choosing mattered, to stand between the danger and the thing that needed protecting. That choice did not require a larger mane. It required only the decision to make it.